Today I'll be talking about Logitech's new take on the mechanical keyboard space, and this is the Logitech Alto Keys K98M. The unboxing is pretty straightforward. You get the charging cable and the USB dongle. Yes, you heard me, I say charging cable because this keyboard cannot be used wired. But before you write this keyboard off, there are plenty of other redeeming qualities about this keyboard to talk about. But first, let's talk about the design first. It uses a polycarbonate body, PVT keycaps with some translucency on the letters so that when this keyboard lights up, it'll shine through. At the back, you've got a few rubber feet for grip security, a slot to place your dongle if you want to bring this keyboard around. You've got a north-facing LED which works well for this keyboard. It supports up to 5-pin keyboard switches, which is great even though the stock switch is 3-pin. The highlight of this keyboard is with its silicone gasket design, which they are dubbing the Uni Cushion. It's essentially a big silicone infill placed inside the keyboard at the base of the keyboard under the PCB, which they have a dedicated video about on Logitech's website if you'd like to check it out. And it looks like they've also added a layer of foam in between to give it a bit of cushioning. So the silicone has a bit of give to the gasket feel, and there's a lot of sound dampening so the most important for a keyboard, how does it feel and sound? The typing experience on this keyboard was very surprising. We'll get to the sound shortly, but I'll describe the sound as being towards the clacky side, but the silicone gasket made the sound a little bit rounder and not as pitchy or sharp, and it's very light on the touch with the switch, which Logitech is dubbing the marble switch, but there's no rating or specification to the force, so all I can say is that it's a linear switch and the actuation force is on the lighter side. With the overall design, I'm not getting much fatigue as you would on heavier switches, and I think it might have been factory looped, at least it felt that way. So without further ado, just testing the sound of this keyboard with a few comparison with other mechanical keyboards in my collection. So being a 98 keys keyboard is a bit more compact than your standard office keyboard by eliminating all the keys in the middle, like your print screen, insert, page up and down, but they did give you 4 keys above the numpad to give you a bit of customizability. At stock is the home and page and up and down button, but it can all be switched with the Logitech app. Before we get to that, here are a few size comparisons with a full-size keyboard and a few 75% layout, and it's still a little bit bigger than the 75% layout due to the addition of the numpad, but as an overall, it's still relatively compact. Speaking about software, so for this keyboard it uses the Logi Option Plus software. There's so many different Logitech softwares now, it's going to be hard to keep up. Anyway, as you load up the software, if you've got the right one, you'll see your keyboard at the front. At the top right, you can set your smart actions, enable AI prompt builder, which pretty much is a key assigned to your keyboard to bring up a prompt to send something directly to ChatGPT for assistance. It's great if you're a heavy user of ChatGPT and you have all the recipes all set up, but if you're a casual user of AI assistance, then it won't be of any much of use, but at least there's an option there for you. There's also a few application settings you can toggle, like notifications or submitting feedback and etc. Clicking onto your keyboard opens up the option to customize your keyboard, such as backlighting. Of course, by switching this off, you get to preserve the battery even longer, but if you want it turned on, there's no RGB lighting or anything, it's just a white light. Boring, I know, but it's meant to be purely for functioning in the dark. There's also a setting for the easy switch, since clicking 1, 2 or 3 button switches between the devices this keyboard is connected to, which means you have to press the FN key if you want to use the F keys, but in the settings you can toggle it in a way where you can use the F keys as standard function keys, or you can press FN and escape. Also, speaking about features, this keyboard has a battery life rating of 12 months. Yes, you heard me right, 1 year with the lighting off. So they didn't say what the battery lifespan is with the lighting at max, but 1 year, even though it's a huge exaggeration and they don't say what other conditions may affect this, like if it's fully paired to multiple devices and the 12 months battery is with 5 hours of use every day or something. But even if I can get a few months out of a single charge, is a huge feat. That's just crazy, which means if you get this thing plugged in, you don't have to worry about battery life. But I'll drop an update video in 6 months or so just to see what my battery percentage is for this keyboard. 12 months, and so the countdown begins. I've been using this keyboard for about 2 to 3 weeks, and the only time I've seen the battery go down is when I'm switching between 2 different devices in Bluetooth mode. Otherwise, if I'm using via the dongle, I'm at about 95%, so yeah. battery life is amazing. So currently it sounds like it's all sunshine and rainbow, so just noting one or two things that may be something to consider when you're purchasing this keyboard. Since it's not wired, there may be a concern about lag, but Logitech has been in the game so long that I personally don't find much lag when I'm typing. But if you're a hardcore gamer that's all about speed, while I still say you can casually game with this keyboard, there are plenty of other keyboards dedicated to gaming, like Logitech's own gaming peripherals. So this keyboard is definitely not suitable for competitive gaming. Also, because of the sound of the keyboard, is definitely not the most suitable to be in an open office environment because it is audible. While I still think those free keyboards that Office uses for their staff still produce sound, the Alto keys K98M is still a little bit on louder side with that clackier sound profile. So if you want to use it in that kind of setting, I might switch the switches to something a little bit more quiet, unless you have your own dedicated office or you're using this keyboard in your home setup. So here's the Logitech Alto keys K98M with some stock switches from TechWare's Spectre 96 keyboard. I'll have another review video of that keyboard because I thought that keyboard is another awesome keyboard, but this is how the Logitech sounds. It's much deeper and it just sounds so much nicer with Logitech's configuration. So to sum it all up, I think this is a fantastic entry to the Office lineup and definitely would be a perfect pairing to any of Logitech's Office peripherals. Despite already a few keyboards in my collection, I still see this fitting in as one of them due to the unique design and the many features that it comes with, and knowing that Logitech is embracing the keyboard enthusiast and tapping into that market is very exciting. If this is the beginning of what's to come, I'm beyond excited to see what they bring next, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What should Logitech implement into their future design to bring this up a notch? A volume knob maybe? Maybe more switch options? South-facing LEDs? Either way, what a great first impression by Logitech. Thank you all for watching and see you all in the next video.